once again to Everything We Do Is Magic, Udum, as I call it. The place where we discover, we explore, we check out, we look under the hood of all things magical and find that they're really pretty practical. Today's another example. So yesterday, I'm having a conversation with a couple of friends, and they're talking about, one of them is a little down with things going on and a little uh, depressed about the season. And I got to share with them a little bit about what has been misappropriated as a seasonal depression, because of the season, when it's actually kind of, I think, genetically put into us. I told you, in my last video, the pagan origins of the whole Christmas concept and the sun being dead for 3 days and then rising generally on Christmas Day, and assuming its ascent into our hemisphere. The days begin to get longer, warmer. All of these good things happen. Well, part of that is because it's been ingrained within us, in our DNA. As Carl Jung said, we have this collective consciousness. It's a collection of all the memories and all of the traditions and everything, and they kind of form who we are. So we are addressing those issues in our stories. And those stories are the way that we communicate. And so what I was telling them is that it's not because of the holiday season, but it is a physiological response to how we are supposed to live. Because during these 3 dark days, we become real pensive, real introspective. And that is a good thing for us to do. We go through that dark night of the soul to see what things we need to leave behind, what things we need to address, what things we need to bring more of into our lives going forward. It's a time of introspection. It's a time of really deep soul searching. And our stories have been means of relating those physiological feelings, those things in a way that we could understand. First, I want to talk about communication. Communication, because, and you've seen me talk about this before, we are infinite points, there are infinite lines on a point. We have infinite perspectives, that no two perspectives can be exactly alike. Now, quantum physics will tell you that that is true, because no two molecular items, no two bits of energy, no two vibrational fields can occupy the same space at the same time. So that what we're experiencing is actually the ripple off the vibrations of solid objects, or the ripples off the vibration of light that we process. But they're never absolutely positively synced where they're the same thing, because there's still a different perspective. So with that said, what we've done, we've developed communication. Now, what communication does is it allows us to have enough points of commonality of our perception that we can agree on, say, and again, you've seen one of my very, very earliest videos on the color blue, that we can agree that this vibrational frequency, we will call it and name it blue, and we will have a general understanding of that vibrational frequency, enough that we can communicate that, yes, and agree this is blue, that is blue. Now, as I said in that video, what happens then when someone says, well, what about this shade of blue? And the outliers, you begin to see those things. Too often what happens is we want to gather around our own campfire. We want to pull these people back into the fold and say, no, that's not really blue. This is really blue. So then what happens is, because, and again, this comes from a place of fear. It comes from a place of lack of self-love. Because when one is secure in themselves, and one is secure in their love for themselves, and they understand what the infinite being that they truly are, then those disagreements over that communication don't matter. That you can say that's blue, that's your experience. I'll acknowledge your experience. And that's where the problem lies. We are too caught up in how the sameness we are, and it's easy to get caught. It's easy to get caught in the sameness. It's easy to get homogenized. It's easy to go along with the status quo. It's easy just to follow the flow. It's easy and simple just to go with the current. But we were not created that way. We were created to swim upstream. Again, I go back to my concept of we are the divine, watching divinity become divine. We are divine expressions. We are individuated expressions of a divine whole. And because no two expressions can hold one space, we can never have a congruous 100%, 100 and 99.9% is about as close, 999%. There's always one fraction off. There's always one fraction of a difference in our perspective. And we were created that way so that this divine whole can experience an ever increasing, ever growing, ever differentiating, ever progressing sense of perspective. And as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 perspectives are explored, other perspectives, just as many perspectives, come into existence. So that we will always be chasing, always be trying to comprehend fully the divine. So whatever your tradition is, whatever the stories that your ancestors have perpetuated in order to understand and comprehend and communicate what was going on in their physical world. And look, you got to admit, even in your Christmas traditions, even in your holiday traditions, your Hanukkah traditions, there are so many differentiations between those familial differentiations. When I was growing up as a kid, there was no one who celebrated Christmas in exactly the same way that we did, because we're not meant to. So in this season, don't focus on the differences. Don't focus on, hey, they're doing this and they're doing that. Just understand what it truly is. It is a story. It is a mythology. It is a grimoire. It is a spell. It is a way of understanding a natural occurrence that's happening. That as the sun, in the northern hemisphere, as the sun has taken its trek and has been slowly disappearing from our lives, and its energy is being pulled, and at the same time, because the nights are longer, our energy is being pulled more into that lunar cycle, that place of intuition and self discovery and self inspection. As we've entered that season, we should, and as we come out of that season, we should begin to express or just experience fully the context of it. Allow that darkening, allow that quickening of the soul, and allow what comes in the morning. The sunrise that came up today, the sun in its place, moving again north, its northern journey to bring warmth and life back to our part of the world. And so, whatever story you're using to celebrate, understand that all it is simply the cycle of life. Namaste.